I want this video to serve as a cautionary tale to everybody about the thing keeping you broke as hell: overconsumerism. Welcome everyone to Chrissy Has Questions. My name is Chrissy, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about overconsumerism. And I think it's a really important conversation because I was almost heavily looped into it. I still have some ties to it, so that's why I want to talk about it, because I want to show multiple aspects of it. And I saw two videos on YouTube that I want to reference. I feel bad, I'm not trying to steal their content, but I'm just going to quickly go through some of the things all of the creators in both of these videos mentioned, and then some of the videos that they also displayed, because I don't personally like going on TikTok for a long time, and it is a decision that I have made relative to a lot of the overconsumerism that I've already been trapped in already. I tried going down the Amazon selling rabbit hole. I really got into it for a while. I started posting things of that nature on my vlog channel, and it was because I got sucked into it. I found that it was extremely dopamine inducing, and at the time I wasn't kind of putting that connection together, because I have always been a shopper. That's another thing that is just an issue of overconsumerism in general. I've been a shopper my entire life, even from when I was younger. It's nothing new. I remember my dad giving me money and me and my friends going up to the mall and blowing the entire thing and shopping because we wanted to go get a new outfit. At this point, I am 42 years old. I'm 42, am I 43? I'm 42, and I have had such a decent amount of experience that I feel really good talking about this, and that I can offer some overall perspectives about overconsumerism, how it affected me, how it can affect you. It will affect your finances, and how you can stop yourself from being broke as hell. The point of these videos is not to bash any of the creators that we're watching here today. Please never go send any hate to any of them that you see. If anything, I am subscribing to the content creators that gave me this information, not necessarily the ones that they're displaying on the videos, but I think it's important to raise awareness, because if we keep going down these consumerism chutes from a financial standpoint, you could be ruining certain aspects of your future. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm really not. It's kind of something that I wish I would have said to myself 10 or 20 years ago, realistically. And I'm trying to impart that message through different anecdotal stories and evidence that I will be sharing with you through these videos. So first off, I just want to say I did get sucked into that clean talk, into that whole overconsumerism Amazon on TikTok. I did a lot of my videos on TikTok after I started seeing what a kind of mind worm it was, because once you start getting into it, I started buying a lot of things on Amazon. Now, I did move, so I had a need for a lot of it. So a lot of it was focused around my new purchases for my new home, but still, that can feed this whole thing where people feel like they need that product. So I really have toned down on that. I no longer am really showing a ton of different crazy overconsumptuous products. The last video I did post was a collagen video, but I literally drank every single one of those containers of collagen, and I gave an honest, open review about them. And that could be considered overconsumerism as well, I would assume. You're inducing somebody, or you're suggesting that somebody should purchase collagen. Does somebody need that? I don't know. I personally think that it's really helpful to me, and I share that side of it. But I do try to discuss this on my channel. I have open things where I'm trying to de-influence people as well. It's a mix of both that I'm trying to do at this point, and really trying to back off the overconsumerism, because at the end of the day, when you do the maths on the time and money that you spend on these things that offer you very little outcome or very little things other than you have a lot of things in storage or a lot of knickknacks. That's me. I have a lot of knickknacks in this one room. I did commit to myself that any of my like quote unquote hoarding would go on in only my office. And even now, you can see that it's starting to get kind of cluttered. It's very girly. I don't have that minimalistic, sleek, clean, expensive look. It looks like you're at a 70s or 60s, I don't know, vintage shop or something in my room. But I really like it. It gives me a lot of dopamine, right? But that's the trap that we don't want to fall into. So at some point, if I would have looked back on all the things that I donated, which I think donating is fantastic, but if I would have never bought those things and put that money into the S&P 500, I may have been a millionaire by now. I'm getting close, but I know that if I would have saved my money on dumb things that I didn't need to buy from an over-consumeristic point of view, I would be a millionaire right now. So that's just something to take into consideration if you are in your 20s or 30s. Think about the long-term ramifications and repercussions of continuing to purchase and really have no end sight. And if you are purchasing, here's the thing that saved me specifically is that I did think about money when I was younger, but not as heavily as I should have. I did have a rental unit, so I was able to sell that and procure a large sum of money. So I was able to move to my dream state and location. And I have nice large sums of money in multiple places due to 401k savings, Roth IRA, just overall other savings that I have in high interest or other high yield or other just in the market money. I also am trading, so that is risky. I'm not suggesting that you take your money instead of shopping and going trading, but I would say maybe invest it into a really high yielding index fund or something like this, ETFs, places where you can get dividends. It's all this financial awareness that if you, instead of shopping for items and consumerism things, I'm shopping for investments and assets. I'm shopping for stocks. I have rigorously stopped looking at things. That's why I didn't even want to go on TikTok. Don't get me wrong. Do I look occasionally on YouTube? Yes. And I have one channel, like I said, with the vlogs that I do post kind of consumery things in there, but I've been really pushing back. I've been doing kind of experiences now where it's dining or trying food. And even that is still encouraging. And I struggle because I want to share my life, but it's difficult to share without attempting to persuade somebody to do something or consume something. So it's having that awareness over and over again and me continually shifting out of that and focusing things on money awareness and resiliency, because that is what my background is. I am a business resiliency professional. I've been doing that for about 10 years right now in various financial and insurance institutions. I understand money to a certain degree, and I realized that through my actions of not investing more, it really hindered my ability to retire earlier, if you will. So I'm going to probably have to work or make a lot more smarter investments to be able to retire earlier. And that was due to, in the moment, having fun with things, and then a lot of the things end up being donated, or hey, some of them have to be trashed because they're garbage products. Now, don't get me wrong, do I use a lot of the things? Yes, I absolutely do. But I would say that throughout the years, I've probably wasted who knows, maybe $50,000 in shopping. I'm not really sure. I'm just throwing out a number over the past 20 years. And if I would have taken that money throughout the years and slowly invested it, I would have been to that $1 million point, because through compound and interest, I would have reached that. I'm under that right now because of that, but I'm reaching it. But it takes awareness over and over again, and refocusing the dopamine to be putting into my money recycling, not into recycling into consumerism or other organizations' pockets. So let's jump right into some of these videos that we're going to be reviewing. I'm going to play them on 2 times fast, so do excuse that. I want to pay respects to each one of the creators. Some of the ones from TikTok, of course, I can't, because they are replaying other people's content as well. The creator that I want to talk about, she has 380 subscribers, so please show her some love. Her name is Juri Ariel. I hope I pronounced that right. The title of her video is this relatable content or just consumerism? And I wanted to start with this individual because I really enjoyed her videos, and she did make me purchase things, and I still to this day watch her videos, but I have to do it under a very careful eye. I can easily become frustrated if my house isn't up to date, or if my house isn't clean or as large or as, like organized as other people, and that can kind of get into your head a little bit. So you have to try your best to not think like that, but it can be motivating as well, where it would make me get up and do some organization and cleaning. But for me, it's like I work this 9-to-5 job, and I've been doing this for like 15 years probably now, and it can be very grueling at times, and I know that other creators probably are doing the same thing. Just figured out the algorithm that if they started posting content around maybe lifestyle and then tagging all the things in the videos, they can earn a large sum of money from tagging all of those items. And I didn't realize that people were actually doing this to a certain degree. It took me digging in and realizing what was happening, that a lot of these things were not being purchased by that creator. They were being sent it for free. A lot of them are part of promotions where they're actually being paid to review it. So they're being sent it for free, and then they get money to, on top of that, review it and push it to you. It's not like they just found this item and they really like it and they're trying to share it with you. Most of the times that's not necessarily how it goes, especially for these very large creators. And unless you realize that, you will get caught in an endless cycle of purchasing all kinds of new things over and over again. So it's just something to be aware of when it comes to these types of shorts, because it just becomes like repetitious, where it feels like you need every little thing that these people have, or your house won't look as perfect, or it won't be as polished and refined. So let's see what she says here.
There's just filming themselves in their homes, cleaning their house. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I see cleaning content, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I never knew this product existed, or wow, that's a really good tip on cleaning certain things around your home. Obviously, I also find that a lot of that type of content can be very almost ASMR-like, very relaxing to watch other people clean their.
I agree with her there. It definitely is very ASMR in nature. That's another thing that you need to realize, that it's dopamine hitting you in so many different ways. It's hitting you from a perspective that you're seeing novelty through a new product, because that in your brain automatically creates focus. And then what's happening behind the scenes that I don't really hear too many people in this niche or area speaking about, you start to activate your reticular activating system if you are focusing on something too long. So then what happens is that you end up potentially focused so hard that you need it and you end up buying it. Or you might not buy it at that time, but if you see it out, you may be influenced to buy it at that time when you see it, especially if you are offered a set of products, like say you are looking at cleaning products and you saw a specific content creator showing this specific product, your reticular activating system and your subconscious will have already remembered that product being shown so many times to you over and over again, and you may be more likely to choose that product. So you are still spending that money and you may not even realize that you're doing it. That's how deeply ingrained this information can get into your brain. So it's really important to stay cognizant and aware of when this can start to affect you.
There's one creator in particular who has grown exponentially over the years. Her name is Nikki. I think she goes by Operation Nikki on all of her platforms, and then she's also Nikki's side of Clean Talk. Great woman, great person. I've been following her for a couple years now.
I have even commented on some of her content because it is very idyllic in goals. But at the same time, you need to be careful, not only with her content, with any content creator that is showing you this level of perfection. And it's not just her. There are so many different content creators doing this. I've seen it all over my YouTube and everything like this. And again, I have unsubscribed from a lot of them, and I try not to watch any of it anymore because I realize I can be manipulated into purchasing things, and I need to chill on that. I need to purchase stocks and bonds, and that's what I've been focusing on, and I've been seeing my money grow exponentially, and that's why I'm trying to speak to the masses right now. Grow your money, don't throw your money. That's how I feel about this level of perfectionism. You have to understand that the content creators as well may have millions and millions of dollars. And I would suggest that if you're going to do something of this nature, that you have a huge amount of money in your 401k ready for retirement. I'm talking to myself. Doing things of this nature, unless your 401k is padded. Your emergency savings fund is padded. Like if I have a $10,000 emergency, that's no problem. $20,000 emergency, no problem. $30,000 emergency, no problem. And keep going, because if you're doing things of this nature, you're stockpiling things like this when it's not necessary, when you could be taking your money and using it in different ways that work for you and not work against you. I think nobody should be going to this level of perfectionism if you don't have your bank accounts right, if you don't have things paid off, if you have a mound of debt. I have no debt. I pay off all my credit cards every month. The only debt I have is my mortgage and my car, which I owe like $3,000 on. And if I wanted to pay it, I would, but there's no point in me paying it. I already knew what the interests were. We stretched it out over a certain amount of time. I will be done paying it by like the end of next year or something like this. And then I will only be paying my mortgage, and I pay extra money on my mortgage. If you are not paying extra money towards your mortgage, you, in my opinion, should be focusing on that and not focusing on these things where you're dumping money into knickknacks, different things for storage containers, because realistically, a lot of this stuff ends up being just sitting there empty, or it's just, you could be using the containers with them and not creating so much excess waste. You could be using dollar store items. You don't have to go to Amazon and buy a $10 container a piece. That's the other component of this. There's always these way cheaper alternatives where you could be looking at the same type of containers at a dollar store and get it for way cheaper than going on to somebody's Amazon.
She's been doing great things, and she really deserves everything and more. It's interesting because she's kind of been in the hot seat lately with a lot of negative feedback from not only her audience, but just people that don't know her or don't really like to consume that kind of content. You grow on social media, the more people want to talk about you, the more haters that you tend to get. I mean,
I agree, for sure. The larger you get, the more crazy people are going to talk, because this kind of content can feel almost rage baity too. Because what she did was threw a bunch of stuff away. Now, don't get me wrong, she did donate a bunch of stuff, but in the world of TikTok, that could be considered rage bait. And I'm not pointing fingers, and I'm not saying that that's what she was attempting to do, but unfortunately, the way that TikTok works now, things of this nature garners so much rage because people are feeling, I guess, really poor right now, feeling really not well financially, not well in a good footing with their money and how they're spending and what debts they have. So when you see somebody just frivolously throwing away a bunch of stuff, especially things that are probably really expensive foods, it can garner this visceral reaction from a scarcity mindset. And that's really difficult to navigate. That's why I have a hard time even wanting to get into that stuff anymore. I am really backing away from that type of community or showing those things. A lot of times I have a channel where I do like trinkets because I do like Japanese kind of little kawaii trinkety things and like Hello Kitty. I do really enjoy that, but I'm even dying out of that now. And that channel, who knows what'll happen to it. I've been doing it consistently, and I'll probably do it consistently because I have a lot of small things to show and play with, if you will, but I don't show my face. I don't promote people purchasing things. Like, I don't use the phrases, you have to have this. I'm super obsessed with this. This is the greatest thing of all time. You will see influencers giving you very specific language where it's almost hypnotic and hypnotizing, and it makes you feel like you need to have that thing. I try to not do that as well. It's being a conscious creator, not just being a conscious consumer. For me, it's living in both worlds, and trying to navigate those waters is really interesting. But in my opinion, I'm really going away from that. And if anything, I did start a trading channel as well because I just love content creating. I've been content creating on YouTube for years and years and years. And most recently, throughout the past like 3 or 4 years, I've decided to open up multiple channels because I like to discuss different concepts and theories. And one of the channels I did open up is a trading channel that is dedicated to learning how to trade, that is dedicated to learn finances, to learn the markets, to learn how to try to improve one's financial resiliency. And that's what I'm really focusing on now. I'm really pivoting and moving away from all of this overconsumption content because I don't want it in my own personal life, and I don't want to be a part of it per se from this insane perspective where all I'm doing is attempting to sell you some sort of new gimmicky product to clean your house with or to put in your car to make you a backseat princess, etc., etc.
Because are the people in the comments right in saying that she's overconsumption and making people purchase unnecessary things, being wasteful? Or is it just plain and simple as you know, it's her money, she can do whatever she wants with it?
And every time I'm going to say, if you have the money for it, it's up to you and each person what they do with their money. In my opinion, I will not be trying to do things of this nature over and over again until my bank account is in a place where I feel comfortable. You have to remember that these creators, I'm assuming they're savvy and smart enough to where I'm assuming like this Miss Nikki probably has multiple $1 million in her family's account. I'm gonna assume she's got a trust fund by now. I would have a trust fund with multi-million dollars in my account if I was her. I would have had multiple investment accounts started. I would have any large sum of money put into the market, into dividends. So if that whole thing ever stopped, I would have income that would be rolling in monthly that would be able to support me if content creation was no longer a thing that I could participate in. Because you don't know, this type of thing could die down. It could not produce as much fruit or something like this. So it's always good to have the backup plan, a plan for what might happen if something doesn't succeed or if you don't always consistently have millions and millions of dollars coming into your account.
It's finally time. I need to talk about Nikki's side of Clean Talk. I've given her a lot of passes, but her latest video, I couldn't stay silent anymore. She's been very requested for a while now, but her fan base really intimidated me.
So shout out to her. I'm going to use this video and I think maybe one other one quickly, and then I'm going to move on to another individual that had some other really fantastic points to make about just over consumerism in general.
And just because I do think that she's teaching people like some really good cleaning habits, she's also influencing people to buy a lot of stupid stuff. She seems like such a lovely person. Her house is absolutely gorgeous. Thank God it's so big so that she can store all of her...
Yes, her house is very beautiful. It's very gorgeous. It's very well kept. It's very clean. It's very organized. She is just what I would like to be to a certain degree with the cleanliness. I don't think I would have as many things and gadgets, and like that is to each their own. Just for me, it ends up being difficult to store these things. I start getting agita and I'm like, oh my God, I get rid of all the stuff. Like I do like a spring cleaning and like get rid of things, because I'm learning as I get older to minimalize a lot of things. Like I said, I have this one room where I maximize, but the rest of my house, I do try to have a minimalistic type of thing. I try to decorate more with artwork and pictures and greens, plants. I try to not have a ton of things everywhere. My house is not that big to begin with, and to be honest with you, I could even get rid of more things and donate them, which I do intend on doing. And that's why I'm trying to tell you that even with me attempting to get rid of things and move things around, I still feel like I have too many things in my house. And even with this level of things, I wouldn't be able to function. It would be too much. I don't know at what point is enough.
Little novelties and gadgets, because there's a lot. But I feel like I've been giving a lot of clean influencers a pass on something that I would drag someone else for. And her latest video absolutely sent me. Like, are we just ignoring this because we like her? We can like someone and still question their behavior. If any other influencer posted themselves throwing away this much food, the comments would be very different. I'm not saying don't throw food away. We all do it. You know, things go bad. When you're standing in your custom pantry, throwing away probably hundreds of dollars of groceries, a lot of people aren't gonna love that, because so many people cannot afford groceries right now, especially when your platform influences how people consume. And another thing, you know what makes things go stale faster? Taking them from their original container and putting them into a different clear plastic container. So yeah.
That one I've always been confused about, because I did feel like when you put it in the second container, it gets like shitty. I always like to, I just get the clips and roll it down, suck all the air out of it. Or I remember back in the day, I don't do it at this house, but at another house, we zipped it. We had one of those automatic like closers. So we would just keep the original packaging and just re-zip the packaging. It would like reseal it, and you would just cut the top off and discard that, and then you'd have like each little amount as you went with each container or bag or whatever that it was in. So I get recanting things or decanting things. It's cool, but it also, I have found an attempt of doing that also has been wasteful for me as well. Like containers have like broken, tops have gone lost. It's very like an aesthetically pleasing thing if you want everything to look perfect.
Disappointing, but the consumerism I have to talk about. She is the aesthetic clear plastic container final boss. And does anyone else not see that her dress matches her trash can? She says that she's not over consuming because
she's had that trash can for forever, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that those match, and I think she just, that's not like on purpose, I don't think.
Because all of these things make her happy. Chasing that dopamine hit of purchasing something new should not be the source of your happiness. We got to find other ways to cope. Of course, she has.
I do agree. It should not be. It should be going on a walk with your dog. I have started to do that the past few years with my dogs. I make sure I go on 2 to 3 walks a day if I can. I don't just put them in the backyard and let them go to the bathroom. We take walks. We also started to do doggy training classes where I take my dogs once a week to do an hour training, things of this nature that are experiences that are getting you out to have different dopamine hits instead of using it on purchasing something and rearranging something in your house, which I've done it plenty of times. Again, I'm guilty as charged, but I'm realizing that I can no longer do that. I can't do that forever. It's driving me crazy. I was doing it for like 6 months, and just the repetitiveness of attempting to unbox things and show people things and make content with those things. I just felt like everything was revolving around things. And I don't want my life to revolve around things. I want my life to revolve around these feelings and experiences that I can have with my friends and family, and still have wonderful things in my house, but not feel like I need to have every best thing that comes out, and that every little package needs to be decanted into something beautiful, that every little thing has to be perfectly in the same color, in the same aesthetic, stored in this perfect setting, and every little thing, because my house, my bathroom, and my kitchen are not brand new. They're older. I had to remodel them myself. And they don't look like this. I don't have $1 million bathroom and kitchen. I literally redid what's there from the 70s, I think, and I'm dealing with that for now. And I'm not even putting the money in to remodel it until I feel comfortable with the amount of money that is in my retirement, because regardless of me updating those things, I redid them. They look cute. I'm not in a situation where I need to see this gorgeous kitchen and say, oh my God, I have to have this kitchen as well. Where there will be people that would do this and would dump $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 into a kitchen and put themselves in debt. That's not what I'm attempting to do right now. I've done other cosmetic things in my house that I really wanted for privacy reasons that I did spend $10,000 on, but I did that on purpose to create a certain aesthetic around the outside of my house where I will be spending a lot of time outside. I will be spending time in my yard, in my lanai. So that was extremely important to me because that was giving me an experience. Now, all of this thing, it's giving you an experience in your house too, but depending on the type of person you are, it could potentially stress you out attempting to keep all of this in perfect order.
That's the little fruit and veggie speaker. I'm sure it's linked on her Amazon storefront. Are we supposed to scrub each egg individually? Because I've not been doing that.
And I understand the eggs. I have quails and I will wash the eggs off. I feed them to my dogs. We don't eat them. I feed them to my dogs as a supplement, but I'll rinse them off before I feed them to my dogs.
I get why people look up to her. This is very inspiring. She's so organized. She's healthy. She's clean. She's bougie. But some of the stuff that she promotes is so consumerism final boss, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, like I don't have that much stuff in my kitchen by no means, because first of all, I do not have the space. And second of all, it's just I have been slowly clearing things out because I did overconsume and I did attempt to do all this. And I have remnants of that in my kitchen now that I'm attempting to even still get rid of. I think about a month ago, I had to go through and donate a bunch of cups. I took a whole bunch of other tchotchkes and gave them to a child that I know that likes things like this. So it's things of this nature that will build up, and your entire living space will start to become over compartmentalized thing with all these things in it. So it's like a thing and a thing and a thing and a thing.
All right.
Okay, so a couple things that I wanted to touch on in this girl's post, and then we'll move on to Nikki's response. I will say that Nikki's not the first person to post content like this, to post content where everything is in a container, everything is a little extra. Is she being extra? To me, yes. There are some products that she uses and buys that I just don't think would be necessary. Can shopping become an addiction? Most certainly. And anything that you find that you can't live without is an issue.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's an addiction for sure. I haven't really touched on that. I say dopamine, but that's what it turns into because you're chasing that dopamine hit. It becomes then an addiction. So you go into this repetitive cycle. You train your reticular activating system, and then you go to look for this content every single day. And then on top of that, you train your algorithm to show you more and more and more. And then you get stuck in this cycle of shopping. And listen, I was doing it too because my mom does it without realizing it half the time. Her house is packed, and I tell her, you need to unpack some of that house. Going to Ross, going to Burlington, going to TJ Maxx, going to Home Goods. there's channels that are dedicated to doing nothing but that, to doing nothing but shopping. And I started doing that as well, but I was like, what the fuck am I doing? This is insane. I cannot participate in this level of lunacy for myself, at least. So I try not to record a lot of those trips anymore. If I go shopping, it is for me. And if I want to show something occasionally, okay, but I'm not going to consistently go out to procure items to be able to show on the internet anymore. I'm not going out shopping to be able to create a shopping experience just for the sole experience of watching somebody consume or purchase things or attempt to purchase things or just show you different things that would make you want to go out to the store. That I've really slowed down on, because you will fall into a rabbit hole and that will be all you want to do. I don't want to do that. I live in Florida. I live close to the beach. I have stopped doing things where I'm shopping on Saturday. I will go to the beach, or I will be by my pool, or I will be filming content, or I will be learning how to trade, or I will be checking out my investments, or I will be grocery shopping for healthy food and preparing healthier meals for myself, because otherwise I could easily be shopping in TJ Maxx all the time.
It can be an issue. I mean, addiction can look different in everyone. Not to say that she has a shopping addiction, but it is possible. And so do I think, like I said, so a lot of things are completely unnecessary that she not only purchases, but promotes. And for the overconsumerism police, yes, I can see why she gets some of the comments that she does, because there are a lot of things that there's a lot of things that people create out there that just causes you to have more stuff. I'm the type of person that I wouldn't say that I'm very minimalistic, and I'm not, trying to buy everything that I see, but I do like to keep things organized.
I've noticed too, a lot of creators will also, it's not just Nikki, I've seen plenty of others do it. They will show you their wardrobe. They will show you their other areas of their house, like their shoes, purses, and all of them are very expensive, where they're showing you Louis Vuitton bags, Gucci's, Chanel, all of the high-end top tier purchase that costs thousands of dollars. Usually those types of bags are also sitting in the containers or things of this nature. I mean, look at Michaela Neguera. She is huge on TikTok, and she has been shopping and showing large sums of money put into bags. I think recently they showed her spending $48,000 on a few Chanel bags. $48,000 invested into the S&P 500 could put you on a financial footing that it would be insane in a few years, especially if you were aggressively investing it and you knew what to do with it. You could turn $50,000 into who knows how much money and who knows how much amount of time. But instead, we are purchasing things like a bag that will sit around and could potentially become ruined and then has no resale value. So I just don't understand why this type of content is so highly popularized right now, but I think it's because we're looking at things that we can't get to and we dream about, and we're living vicarious through these creators, but we're also at the same time creating these situations that make people feel bad.
He's promoting all these products for audience to purchase. And while I think affiliate marketing is a great way to make money as an income for a creator, at the same time, you as a consumer have the power of free will to decide whether or not you're going to buy something. I'm not going to let a creator convince me to buy something most of the time.
And that's the other thing, folks. I don't know if you realize it, but there's all these different tips and tricks that creators use. And if you're not savvy to what they're doing, you would be none the wiser. For example, if you are just perusing somebody else's Amazon storefront, if you're not aware, any purchases that you make out of your Amazon after you've clicked onto somebody's link, I believe for 24 hours, the last time I understood it, would go into that creator's affiliate. So for example, if you were to click into Miss Nikki's Amazon affiliate and you are just looking around at her storefront and you don't feel like purchasing anything, you've clicked on that link. And now if you go and purchase a $2,500 computer, I'm almost positive that creator would get the benefits or kickback or affiliate amount of money from that specific Amazon purchase that you made, even if it was not out of what they suggested that you purchased. So just something to be aware of. You may be making content creators money just by clicking on one of their links. So just be aware of that whole situation. And every time you click on a link, the creator gets paid for anything you purchase through their affiliate, especially if you're purchasing something that's on their commission site. And I'm assuming you know that if you're clicking on it. You just might not know that if you go out of that and purchase whatever else for the next 24 hours, that creator is going to be getting your commission.
Expect my last video to get so much hate. What I thought was a good life decision turned me into a wasteful villain who doesn't care about the less fortunate. So I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself to my new followers. My name is
Yeah, I don't think she's a wasteful villain. That's insane. I just think that she's living her best life because she probably did not have a life like this before. I'm pretty sure she did not come from wealth. So she is, in my opinion, attempting to fully enjoy the benefits of her newly found just money, right? All of the affiliates that she's probably getting in, all of the different machines and free things that she's using at this point. Good for her. I did not hack or crack any type of code like this. This is almost like money out of thin air. Not to say that people don't work for this, but I've worked really hard on my 9 to 5. I had lots of channels and I produced lots of content on them, and I was not as lucky because I didn't get on TikTok. I posted a lot on YouTube, and it was a lot of long form YouTube videos, and they were not necessarily always popular. So I was putting my work in a different area, but blowing up because her content was really addicting and it was short form. Everybody loves short form content nowadays. So she is maximizing everything that she is now in receipt of, and it's her money. She can do what she wants with it. It's just, as a consumer, you need to be aware of what your limits
Nikki.
are.
I really love to clean and organize. And last year, my father passed away. And that devastation put so much into perspective for me. I decided to start taking my health seriously, both mentally and
My dad passed away a couple of years ago too, so I know exactly what that feels like.
physically. And I've lost 70 pounds so far. My hubby and kids are also on this journey with me. My son, he's also lost 70 pounds. And we decided to remove food from our pantry that would hinder our weight loss progress. That made a lot of people mad. And I understand, because there are people struggling that can't afford groceries. But my day one followers know I care deeply about the well-being of others, because I was once less fortunate myself. Just a few months ago,
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing. She's always doing these type of charitable things. So that's fantastic. But again, these are all tax write-offs as well. I'm not trying to be rude, but it is content and it is a tax write-off. And it's not to say that people aren't generous or that she isn't generous or does these wonderful things for people all the time. Absolutely. But there's multiple things at play here, and it's you as the consumer that just has to be aware that you can fall victim to purchasing things when maybe you should be investing your money instead.
made blessing bags for domestic violence women's shelter.
I think a lot of it was also discussing pouring into your own cup, which I totally get, but there's a lot of things from a self-care perspective that you can be doing that doesn't cost a ton of money all the time. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be buying products. And that's another thing that I've done. I've wasted so much money on beauty products. It's not even funny. And I'm trying not to do that, or I'm only doing it if I need something or I find something on sale, but I still get sucked into it. Not as bad, especially with like perfumes. There's so many different avenues, especially if you're a female, of consumerism holes that you can get into. It's insane. So it's staying really cognizant of that. And the next video that I did want to watch, this young lady right here, not the one that's on the screen, her name is Sharisa. She has over 3,000 subscribers, so that's really good. I'm going to subscribe to her channel as well. I suggest you do the same if you enjoyed some of this content that we're going to look at from her. Again, going to be playing on very fast, but she has some snippets from TikTok that, in my opinion, are very accurate. We shouldn't be taking these things lightly.
isn't normal. Having multiple online orders on their way to you at all times isn't normal. Hiding or lying about your purchases to your partner isn't normal.
No, these things are signs of shopping addictions.
A recycling bin always full of deconstructed boxes and packaging and shopping bags isn't normal. Never repeating the same outfit isn't normal.
I hope no one comes for me for this, but do you get the urge to like shop like every day?
Yeah, it's because you're addicted to it. What happens is you're hoeing the road in your brain through this process of visually stimulating yourself to see the shopping, and then you go and do the shopping. So that is a lethal combination.
That I exclude. I like buying medicine. I like buying fashion. I like buying homeware. I like buying makeup.
I will piece together the outfit and I will buy every single piece. Like if I like an inspo, I will take it as far as.
Yeah, so all of these creators are doing something that's probably very familiar to many people. You get easily roped in. You will look at an outfit and pick up every piece of that outfit. I'm not saying I've done that a ton, but I've done it. I've done it to where I saw a really cute outfit from head to toe and I procured every piece. And I have a lot of clothes. I should go on an entire year of clothes no buy myself. So I understand all of these addictions. They're real. I have experienced them and I'm only now attempting to get myself completely away from them and realizing that I have enough and that enough's enough and that it's all about my lifestyle now. The feeling of being free, financially free, not feeling like I need to consume, feeling like what's important to me is buying a dragon fruit and sitting on the beach, okay?
Consumption and an obsession with instant gratification have now become a personality trait.
Yes, instant gratification, that's another thing. Unfortunately, well, it's like fortunately and unfortunately, Amazon has become so fast that sometimes I can get things instantaneously. Now, don't get me wrong. Is that nice if you need some medicine or you need some food or you need something really important? Awesome. But if you're using this and every day you're delivering yourself goodies, skincare, makeup, candy, I don't know, whatever, things that you could be purchasing from there, and you're doing it on a daily or everyday basis, and you do not have the funds to do this, you are putting yourself in debt, or you are not secure for your financial future, you are setting yourself up for failure. We picked up this one young lady's video here, which I thought was really good.
I finally realized that the source of my shopping addiction was a lack of self-love. And I didn't get that light bulb to go off until I asked for a divorce after 5.5 months of marriage. It wasn't until then that I was like, yeah, I've been doing this my entire life.
Yes, emotional hoarding is another component of this. If you have underlying issues or you have emotional things that you're dealing with, shopping can feel like a relief because it takes away the pressure or something like this. It's something in your brain that gives you the dopamine, and then what happens to me is I'm only focused or concentrating on the shopping and not the other issues at hand. And that's really like avoiding, you're coping, and when you do this, you are just digging yourself into not dealing with problems head on, not dealing with emotions head on, and not processing feelings in a way that's healthy. You are turning to objects and things to turn that situation around for you. And I think she does say something about recognizing every little thing that you purchase, where it's like, where was my headspace at when I purchased this thing? For me, a lot of times I'm just somebody that's like, oh my God, it's so cute. There's not even like an empty void or something that I'm trying to fill. It's just an addiction. You start to love all of these little trinkets, all of these little tchotchkes, and I still do. Even after buying them, I still love some of them. Do I love all of them? No. But at the same time, a lot of the things that I have purchased, if I pick them up and look at them, some of them I don't remember purchasing. It's like blackout status. So you can go from one extreme to where you're heavily, like you could look at a $1,000 Chanel purse and say, oh, I bought this because my boyfriend pissed me off and it made me happy and I was depressed and I love it now. But I loved it then, but 2 days later I hated it and realized I only bought it because it made me feel good because of the relationship trouble. Then there's the other aspect of it where you black out, you buy all kinds of shit and you don't even realize what you bought.
I just saw all of this stuff that was tied to so much negativity in my life. And I was like, wow, every single item here I bought because I felt bad about something. I bought because I felt sad, or I felt angry, or I felt betrayed, or I felt manipulated, or I felt...
Absolutely. That all of those emotions could be so true with any purchases. That's why we have to be extremely cautious.
Go through your stuff and write down where you were in life. Like, were you happy? Were you at that job that you hated? You know, like write it down. And if that list comes back with you making majority of your purchases out of sadness, out of boredom, out of just feeling a need to follow a trend or just try a product because your favorite influencer said so, then you have just discovered probably the root cause of your overconsumption.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 110% a great way to analyze your shopping behaviors, your over-consuming behaviors, your viewing behaviors, your watch time, where that's being dedicated to, where before my watch time was dedicated to shopping videos, what the latest Coach drop was, etc., etc. Now my feed is just, like I said to you before, shopping for stocks, shopping long-term money income building.
Extravagant hauls, but you don't see the credit card statements. You don't see whether or not that person is in debt. You don't see how hard they're working. You don't see how much overtime they're putting in at work.
Yeah, and it goes back to what I was saying before, especially if you're putting in all this hard work and you do lots of hard manual labor and you're blowing it with no financial future. It's something to think about.
I have to return everything because I realized I didn't even need anything. Or sometimes like I'll order stuff online and like I'll be so excited to get it and I'll be like checking when it's gonna get there. And as soon as I get it, I'm like, oh, like it's here and I actually didn't want it. I know it's so...
And I liked what this girl had to say. I'm not going to play too much of it, but she ended up just discussing the time wasted. That's another component of this. The time scrolling, looking at the shopping stuff, the time trying to decide how things are priced, if you can find one cheaper. Just all of the things add up to a lot of time wasted, especially if you are an addicted person to where you need to return a lot of the things that you're purchasing. That right there is time sunk, in my opinion. I don't return a ton of things. I return some things, but I don't go on huge shopping sprees and then return like 75% of the things. That's not generally what I do. I occasionally do that with jeans. If I don't feel like trying them on, I might buy 1 or 2 pair of jeans, and then if I absolutely hate them, I'll return them. But I'm not buying 60 different things in a sitting and then returning 58 of them. That is another way that you would know that you have an addiction and you're wasting your time where you could have been putting that into a skill to earn you money instead of something that would be detracting.
And go through what I already owned. If you do that,
matter of fact, you already have another blush palette that has the exact same colors as the new ones that just came out. That you are content or being content with what you have and where you are in life will definitely do wonders for every area of your life.
Time you feel inspired to purchase something, go through your own inventory before you purchase it. And then if you absolutely don't have it or it's something that's unique or something, okay, then I can see some sort of potential justification from it. But more than likely, you don't need it. You find you have something that matches almost exactly, or that is so close that it's like barely a hair off, that can be duped out, that can be just looked at it from a different perspective, where you continuously purchase everything that you see people suggesting to you. I thought it was very interesting.
I said no to going out to dinner with friends, bought the cheapest thing at the grocery store just so I could buy that one thing, whatever it was in the moment.
Young lady was, if you're shopping so heavily that you can't afford to pay your rent, that you can't afford to pay groceries, that you're eating ramen because you're wanting to spend all your money in shopping, that is also a slippery slope where you could get yourself in a situation where you have to go into selling your things, or you have to lock down and attempt to save, especially for your financial future if you have not thought about these things. So it's like you essentially look really expensive now, like you have really expensive clothes, really expensive jewelry, really expensive things in your house, really nice car, etc., but you have no financial future. You have nothing from a large sum of money. You have no liquidity, you have no retirement, you have no bank accounts with large sums of money in them. You just have all these things that outwardly make you look really expensive, but behind the scenes, if it were to all be wiped out from you, what you physically, tangibly have in your hands right now, and you have no stored backup resiliency plan, you know, you would be up a creek because you only have these things that you purchase, like expensive watches, expensive, like her glasses look expensive, her clothes look expensive. If you want to purchase all of these expensive things and you have no financial future lined up, I don't know how that could potentially, you know, pan out well for somebody. I think it's really important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't live in the now to a certain degree, but it's not being so wasteful that you're spending frivolous amounts of money on just things that don't need to be at that status.
I hate seeing anything lifestyle and it's literally just consumerism, product, shopping. Like, spend the day with me, day in the life, and they're just doing tap to pay from one place to the next. Like, wake up, shop, luxury service, shop more, food service, shop. And it's not even coming from a place of superiority, because I live in the US and I think to live here is to honestly just inherit a consumerism like addiction.
Yeah, it definitely is. We love shopping in America. It's what we do here. That's just the reality of the truth all day. She goes on to say here that they don't care.
The influencers do not care about whether or not the products that you have are actually meaningful or would actually be beneficial to your life in particular. They're carrying out their contractual obligations to these companies, so they get paid to make the ad, they get paid to review the product, or they get sent PR in exchange for opening the product and being excited about the product on camera. You, on the receiving end, you don't actually realize that you're being sold to. Even in PR unboxing videos, you are being sold to.
All just like this manipulation tactic that you don't realize is probably going on, and it's very easy to get manipulated into, and it's very difficult to try to get out of it. But I implore you, try your best to slowly, through micro actions, stop. Slowly start unsubscribing from different creators that are just showing you nothing but consumerism. Unsubscribe from emails that are promoting you to buy things. Make sure that you don't check out latest drops 24/7. Go and focus your attention on things that will earn you money. And the more you start to micro focus on those things, that focus will grow, and you will begin your debt-free journey, or you will begin your journey to becoming a multimillionaire. And I'm not trying to say money is everything, but don't you want freedom? Would you want freedom, or do you want trinkets? That's how I look at it now. I think the trinkets are cute and I want some, but at this point I'm wiping a lot of that away and I'm focusing on freedom. That is my main goal, truth and freedom, and I will be doing everything in the pursuit of that and not allowing influencers or overconsumerism to block that new avenue for me that I know is beneficial to me and that I want to tout to others as well.
You need to understand social media and how it works and how influencers are paid before you invest yourself into feeling like these people, for the most part in general, are being honest with you all the time about everything they're doing.
I agree, because they're not. They're just, a lot of them lie straight to your face about things. A lot of the bigger ones are getting so much ad money and so much view money, and you have no idea. And every time you even hate view them or hate comment, you are paying them. So that's why it's better to just pay them no mind at all and focus on either creating content for yourself or doing something in your life that adds value.
a much more conscious consumer now, but that did not happen overnight. But here's what I wish I could tell my past self, and if this helps even one person, I will be so happy. The first thing a lot of people try to do is immediately declutter, try to start under consuming and become a minimalist, and I would advise against this unless your current situation is extremely unhealthy and it is absolutely necessary to start decluttering, because you need to make peace with the reasons you bought the things in the first place. You bought the bag because you thought it would make you look more put together. You bought the new viral skincare product because you were feeling left out. You bought the Labubu because, well, girl, I don't know why you bought that, but
see, and it could be hooked on to a lot of things with your childhood. With me, I bought a lot of these things because I liked trinkets in my childhood and it brings me nostalgia. So that's why I bought a couple of Labubus. I don't even have a real big Labubu. All of mine are like fake. I have some of the smaller ones that are real. But I used to be a huge fan of Furbies and they are so nostalgic for me. So those reminded me of those. So that's why I got sucked into that. And it was stemming back to the consumerism that I had nostalgia as a child with toys.
Anyway, but healing from consumerism means you have to forgive your past self. That is step one of overcoming consumer.
Yeah, I agree.
That is not the solution.
It's very likely that you're just going to end up buying more stuff again in order to fill that gap again, in order to feel content with your life or to feel comfortable in your own skin. I also think limiting our social media exposure would help, or like unfollowing people who all they're doing is pushing products.
Yeah, and I completely agree with those tips and tricks, because at the end of the day, we are only harming ourselves by continuing to consume these products or consume these videos and all of these just different things that cause you to spend more and more money to procure more and more junk. I am so hyper aware of it now, where I wasn't the past few years. Like, I was off and on, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal until I started realizing how much of these things could have been invested into different areas of my life, and I could have been financially free by now. But because I was ignorant to a lot of the things, especially with social media and purchasing and shopping and being addicted to shopping and being highly influenced, I took a couple steps back, right? I'm not the multimillionaire that I should have been by now due to that. So it's kind of awakening in that moment and stopping myself now, because the Chrissy in 10 years won't have questions, because I'll have known what I did now to secure my finances for 10 years from now, so I am free and I can retire much earlier than the average American, instead of purchasing things where I would be stuck in that cycle. So I hope everybody learned something new today, and that you'll take away a little bit of additional information relative to how your brain works, shopping addictions, how you can train your reticular activating system in a way that does not help you, that hinders you. So it's understanding how your subconscious works with these materials that are almost hypnotizing you and making you feel like you may need them, or you're just not adequate enough. And that's not the case. If anything, you should be focusing on your financial future and not the instant gratification of decanting some pasta or being able to put your shoes in a clear container. I know how it is. I'm just telling you that there's bigger things or bigger fish to fry if you don't have all of those things in order. These things may just be filling a void because you know that those are things that need to be done, and that instant dopamine hit is easier than heading and facing those future financial challenges head on. But the more you do them in a micro action, the more you will feed the dopamine towards that. And by the time you know it, you will get dopamine hits off of putting your money into the S&P, into index funds, into investments, into long-term strategies that will make you money over and over and over again. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. And until the next time, guys, I hope you all stay financially astute. Bye, guys.